who are here today. This is our first coffee and conversation in our new space. So I think we should probably start with a shout out to the university and our local sponsors, the city and the county included, that helped us move into this great new facility. And we're 2 weeks in. I think it's a fantastic place to live, work, collaborate, innovate. We have student programs here. We have community programs here like this one. And it's fantastic that we're right down at street level, not hiding up above some storefronts like we were before. So pretty excited about being here, and thank you for coming. So, Nia.
Yes.
I noticed that you're from New York City, or New York, let's put it that way. And we all have, I think many of us have our stories of how we came to SLO, but I don't run across many New Yorkers in the 3 years that I've been in SLO. So could you tell us a little bit about what the journey was that brought you here?
Sure, yes. So I moved to San Luis Obispo in 2024. Family brought me here. I had a little baby girl, but before that I was in New York for 15 years, and I actually wasn't always in sustainability. My career was actually visual design, and my design career really culminated as an art director for a luxury furniture brand called Maiden Home. And there were all of these series of events happening in the world that made me really think about just where I need to put my time and my talents, helping to fight climate change, taking care of the environment. And so I ended up going to Pratt's School of Architecture in their Graduate Center for Planning and the Environment, and getting a master's in sustainable environmental systems. And that changed my life. So I really learned about the built environment. You know, obviously we think about trees and air and pollution, but there's so much more to that. And that's really ultimately led me here. Obviously having, a family now, but my husband's originally from San Luis Obispo, so that's the real thread.
I mean, if you grow up here, how do you ever enjoy living anywhere else, right? So it makes sense that you're back. So it's interesting being a visual designer and then becoming interested in sustainability and the environment. I also noticed that you like to travel.
I do.
So, knowing that, I brought this box because, this is boxed water. This comes from Holland, Michigan. And what I think is so interesting about this is, I think these are relatively new around here, right? My first boxed water was on a trip to Copenhagen in, I think it was 1996.
Wow, I just got back from Copenhagen, actually.
So,
awesome.
And bringing up Copenhagen and the fact that this is fairly new in the US, but the people in Denmark were thinking about the environment and not consuming water from plastic bottles 30 years ago, right? So as a traveler, what's your experience with how conscious we are in the US about our environment and the sustainability versus what you see around the world?
It's such a great question. I think a lot of my inspiration comes from overseas, truthfully. In America, we are quite behind on initiatives, way far behind Scandinavia and behind Asian metropolises. So, I mean, I love boxed water. I think my first time having this was a design event in New York City, and it was like emerging. I mean, this is maybe 10 years ago, so it's amazing. It's been there for like 3 decades. But just traveling, and I mean, so I just got back from Copenhagen. I also went to Amsterdam, Cologne, Germany, and Paris. And yes, we took our 2-year-old with us on the way.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
But these were cities that are so inspiring to me because of the way that they think about infrastructure as they touch energy, water. The city of SLO actually sends delegates to Copenhagen to learn about their stormwater resiliency. And I mean, I feel so lucky to live somewhere that's so inspired as well by what's out there. But yes, like these big basic needs, like Europe is really doing amazing things and thinking through the small, not flashy things, literally bottled water. It's convenient, but how can we make that better? And I think too, Europe has a really good grasp, and Asia, on a phased approach. So with a lot of sustainable improvements they make, it's never just like overnight, because that's really hard, especially now as Americans. It will be very hard for us to do overnight, but a phased approach, you know, planning for decades change. Yes, I am so inspired going through the world and seeing what other countries are doing.
I think this is a center for innovation and entrepreneurship, and one of our guests today, Maela, is founder of a company that has an innovation that contributes to sustainability long term, right? So we'll hear from you when we're able to pass the box around. The rules say not yet. But there's so much innovation that's taken place around the world. So I lived in Tokyo for 10 years, right? So, and I look at the US as the land of plenty. We have plenty of space and resources, highly developed. And I look at Japan, also highly developed, wealthy, lots of resources, however, not a lot of space. And so Tokyo would not function operating the way that we operate here, especially just with trash, right? So they were forced by their environment, right? By the conditions of their country, the size of their country, and the density of the population, to figure out solutions where I think we sometimes have the luxury of not being so diligent or kicking the can down the road. So what do you see as the biggest challenges in the US of making this a priority?
Absolutely.
Really quickly, the headphones would catch if you're picking up some noise, but if you could unmute the right button. Yeah, luckily the headphones is working.
Okay, great.
I'm sure everyone can hear me better now. Sorry about that. It's funny you mentioned Tokyo, because I didn't mention that before going to Pratt. I actually did an online class at the University of Tokyo during COVID times, like freshly as I was making my career switch.
Wow.
And it was all about zoning. Super sexy, I know. But it was about land use and built infrastructure. And so I think, you know, having that intense need to innovate in Japan the way they did, especially with the history they have, the long history of building, rebuilding because of earthquakes, natural disasters, tsunami, you know, obviously really made them have to innovate. I think here in the US, we can depend on programs, local programs, you know, as funding gets cut across the board for certain innovations and sustainable innovations, and just upgrading our ways of doing things. I think turning towards your local systems and, you know, is a great place to find impact. And so green business, I've been so heartened through this work, to be honest, like in SLO County, just seeing the impact and measurable impact that people can have with small things. And even if the policy isn't there, having and identifying certain actors who are leading the way, definitely get involved. I think that's the top thing, because maybe we don't have the policy, but we know everything we need to do, you know, to do better. And it doesn't have to be overnight. Like I said, perfect is the enemy of good. But I think I actually love that you bring up these examples and precedents, because that is it. Just looking, where did they do it well? How can we implement that here?
I think one of the great things about SLO is people are here because they like the environment. They like living in such a wonderful place. So policy can do a lot, but just attitudes of the public so that they're not forced by policy, they're willingly participating is really important. So looking at EcoSLO's website and their programs, it seems like you're kind of making it easy for folks here who want to get engaged to be engaged. So can you just talk a little bit about some of the programs? So for example, I see there's something called Morro Bay in Bloom on Wednesdays and Arroyo Grande in Bloom. What are these types of, what are these events?
Yes, so EcoSLO, it stands for Environmental Center of San Luis Obispo. It is a classic environmental nonprofit. The mission is so clear. I feel like I've worked at nonprofits where the mission was not so clear, but it truly is activating our local community to protect San Luis Obispo County's environment. And so programs like this, events like the Bloom programs, our tree program, we're actually known for three main ones. The tree planting program, our cleanups, so beach cleanups and creek cleanups and the occasional neighborhood urban cleanup, and the green business program, so county green business program. They're really just to activate our community and get folks involved. So we have an incredible volunteer program. People from the outside probably wouldn't know it, but we're quite a scrappy office of granola ladies in there. And we have an incredible team of Cal Poly College Corps fellows who assist us with things like prepping the shovels, our helmets. They make gopher baskets, for all of the trees that we're, in partnership with the city and the county to plant. Also, just, EcoSLO has been around since the 1970s. It was San Luis Obispo's first recycling program before it was a municipal offering, which is wild. I mean, if you look inside the EcoSLO, we call it the EcoSLO Bible, History Bible. There's these, sepia tone photos of people in like a yard sorting plastic. And that's really how EcoSLO began. It was actually a very grassroots program. And so I think it's wonderful that it's carried through in its mission to continue to do that. The way that we operate in SLO County is just everyone from Oceano to Paso, Los Osos. Folks sign up for any of our events. You can go on ecoslo.com/events and just see what we do. And they sign up, and we have a well-run program of, you can drop in. There's no intense training needed. You can be there day of to plant a tree or keep our waterways safe.
Awesome. EcoSLO?
EcoSLO.com/events.
Excellent. I mean, I think it's amazing in SLO how active and outdoorsy people are. And so as I was looking at the events, I'm thinking, well, I could go on a hike, or I could go clean a creek and do something while I'm on my hike outside in the fresh air. So it sounds like a lovely opportunity.
Totally.
And meet some neighbors.
Totally, yeah, and we're so lucky. You're right, like just here in SLO County, like I think our next, our next Creeks to Coast cleanup, that's the big annual cleanup. That's on September 19th. That it takes place in the morning, but then in the afternoon, my friends put on Whale Rock, which is, a big concert. So it's so cool. We live somewhere, you're like, go help clean our neighborhood and then party.
Right, and it looks like you're also, very active on the beaches. You mentioned the beaches. So, which beaches and how, do you rotate around the county, or do you partner with the local communities? How does the beach cleaning and how do those events take place? Yeah, so that role, I mainly work on the green business program, but my colleague, definitely manages all that, so I can give a little snapshot. But if anyone was curious about that, definitely find me afterwards and go to our website to find more. But essentially, it's all of the beaches in the county, and so a lot of it has to do with working with the county rangers, figuring out which jurisdiction that beach is in, whether it's Pismo or Cayucas, it's the county-wide, and we work very closely with our municipalities to get that going. Awesome. And I just have to ask, before we move on to green business,
Yeah.
what is a gopher bag?
Oh, a gopher basket?
Basket. Gopher
Oh my
basket.
goodness, yes, that is a great question. Everyone who likes plants and trees and plants them should know about gopher baskets. We have a lot of gophers here in San Luis Obispo County, and so to protect the root ball of, say, a young oak sapling that you may be planting, a gopher basket is like a wire mesh basket that first, when you dig the hole, after you dig the hole, you place the gopher basket in there and then plant your tree, because you want to protect the young roots after, they're very delicate after you plant them. You want to protect them from a gopher seeking a yummy snack. So that's what that is.
Delicious.
Delicate and delicious.
Awesome. Okay, great. That helps, and I can certainly see a need for them. My dogs love the gophers. And oh boy, every day. So let's dive into the Green Business Program.
Sure.
Can you just give us an overview of what is its purpose and what is your role with the program?
Yeah, so our SLO County Green Business Program exists to help businesses with free technical assistance green their operations. And so what that really looks like is me working with all of the local businesses from South County to North County. We currently have 160 businesses enrolled and about 37 certified. Yes, just going through a checklist, looking at operations that cover water conservation, energy savings, transportation, community-oriented measures, the classic sustainability things that everyone could be looking at, but through a business context, in order to help them obviously help the community, but identify savings and just their bottom line.
What does it mean to be Green Business Certified?
So to be Green Business Certified, that means that when a business enrolls, they go through their checklist that they're assigned, and each checklist is different depending on your industry. So a restaurant will have a very different checklist. Like Novo will have a very different checklist. I'm working with them right now, and they're amazing. We all know it.
We all do know it.
A restaurant will have a very different checklist from like an engineering firm to a hotel. And so a business will make their way through. Once they complete all of the core measures and some select elective measures that they have options to do, then we can officially certify them under the statewide framework, California Green Business Network. And it just is a signal, just like you would any certification, like for a building, like LEED or whatnot. It's a more accessible business certification than getting B Corp certification or status.
So let's say I'm a restaurant, and not for marketing, but because I want to be a good citizen and I think this is important, I want to be green certified. Can you give me some examples of things I might have to do differently than I probably do today? Yeah,
so it's honestly, you're probably already doing some sustainable things, and I mean a really top one, and that will save you money, is putting sink aerators into your faucet. And a sink aerator, I mean anyone after this, just go look at any sink. Actually, your sinks are amazing. I looked at them.
They're brand new, so hopefully somebody was thinking about.
They're up to code and they're awesome. If you look in a faucet, in where the water comes out, there's an insert, and you'll see it's like a circular insert with perforated holes. It doesn't seem like anything special, but it actually allows you to save so much water because it pressurizes the amount of water flowing out of your faucet so that you get the same experience with less water. And that's really a good example, actually, of what the Green Business Program does. It allows you to operate as normal, but in a more or in a less impactful way on the planet.
And do you get it because one of the industries around here is the wine industry, right?
Yes.
Very important for the whole county. Do you work with wineries at all?
We do. We have 2 wineries at the moment enrolled in the Green Business Program, Chemisal and Baliana. And so this year is actually our 2026 year of hospitality. So we're working on onboarding more. We're definitely interested, especially if you're SIP certified. SIP certification is another certification. It's actually more rigorous. And if you're already SIP certified, it's actually kind of a shoo-in to get Green Business certified. So definitely looking to do more of that as we look at our tourism industry. It's very important for SLO County.
Awesome. If you think about businesses in town and in the county, where do you feel we have good adoption of these practices, and where do you wish there was more adoption or attention paid?
Yeah, I mean, definitely San Luis Obispo City. The city of SLO has higher uptake than other parts of the county. Arroyo Grande is pretty good too. Good job, AG. I'd say I'd love to expand more into Paso, mainly, you know, as we work on our wine businesses and really introduce ourselves to them. I think Paso would be a top one that could stand to have more green businesses, which they might already be doing it too. Just have to introduce myself.
Okay, great. What about the university? Does your office collaborate with or do any research or provide opportunities for students working on new things to get out in the field and try them? Do you work with the university at all on any of the programs?
We do. Our College Corps fellows are all from Cal Poly, and that has been so special for us to have folks who are, you know, working in agriculture or the animals department, folks who are really interested in environmental management and are pursuing degrees in that. So that's been really nice, just to be able to work with folks, young minds who are wanting to go out into the world and get experience. And at EcoSLO, we can offer, you know, the classic ecological experience of getting out into nature. And then with me, you know, working with businesses and dealing with buildings and all of that. So we do work very closely with Cal Poly in terms of providing a space to learn by doing for our College Corps fellows. And then nothing formal in terms of research or, you know, whatnot, but we do partner with trees. There are some professors at Cal Poly that really inform what type of trees we should plant in open spaces like Johnson Ranch or in an urban space, because the same type of tree might not thrive in a microclimate the way it would in its native environment in an open space. So there's that. And then for me, I talk a lot to Amy Unruh. She's one of their sustainability team members, and she's amazing and so good at what she does. But yeah, we share a lot of recycling knowledge, and she tells me a lot about initiatives that happen at Cal Poly that might be a great model for what we do with businesses.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the more I live in SLO, the more I realize how the university really is a participant in almost everything going on in the community, which is a really nice thing. I think thinking about innovation for a minute, if I can go off script. So the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, part of our mission is to connect community with programs going on at the university and connect students, the university with the community. And we like to center our programs around themes, right? So there's a lot going on right now because of all of the satellite launches at Vandenberg. There's a lot of focus on aerospace and related technologies. But an area probably for us to spend a little bit more time is around innovation that helps bring forward or create awareness of or support sustainability. And so maybe I'd like to ask Mayela to tell the story. She's working on a product, she has a company that is working on a product of getting the plastic lining out of food containers. And maybe have a little conversation about how perhaps we can collaborate to support more students with ideas like Mayela's. But am I allowed to do this? Hope I don't get in trouble. Can I put you on the spot?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Happy to share, yes.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Should
Yes.
she come up here?
So,
Do you want to come up here?
I don't know. I can just stand right next to you guys. So, hi everyone. I am Mayela. I am co-founder and CEO of EcoPlasticity. And at EcoPlasticity, we are transforming an invasive seaweed into a bio-based coating for paper packaging solutions. The reason why we're doing this is because most paper packaging, like this paper box, has a plastic lining that cannot be compostable or recyclable. And this contributes to 9 million tons of takeout containers being landfilled. And it's also bad for businesses because regulations are coming in place here in California. And if you do not comply with these regulations, you have to pay a fee of up to $50,000 per day. So that's what we are doing. And yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that's a great example of things going on in our community. And you have so many resources and you're connecting people so well. So I think
Yeah, that's amazing. And it actually is a big topic among businesses that I work with, particularly with cups and single-use disposables. So a lot of businesses will ask, what product should I use and is compliant in order to get certified? And so we have a very special situation here in SLO County. We have digesters that all of our compost, our green waste, and residential green bins will go to, as well as commercial. And it has, from my understanding from our Integrated Waste Management Authority, IWMA, anything that goes inside of the digester must break down within 5 to 12 weeks. So that's why certain bioplastics are not allowed. Actually, it's very rare to find somewhere that will take a bioplastic, and so that's so amazing if you're able to innovate and find a plastic that will comply with counties across the nation. It's a big one here, so a lot of times I have had to do some research, like green purchasing product research. Some very important certifications are BPI and CMA certification. This just ensures that a product can be composted, commercially composted. And so that's amazing and definitely.
And our product to that although us here in yes, we send our coating. You can do a tour of the compost facility here in SLO. It's free and it's so amazing to see how it works. They generate their own power by using their own compost, which is very cool. And we send samples of our coating and it can be compostable in their facility, so that's good. But I have a question actually for you and businesses. So what are some benefits of these businesses in SLO to have a green certified business with EcoSLO?
Yeah, so a big benefit is definitely financial savings. That's one, and a good example is the SLO Adventist Church. It's one of the oldest buildings here in San Luis Obispo. It's like over 100 years old. They retrofit all of their LED lights, and they're now seeing almost $100 savings every month after doing that. And that was all because we were able to get them a grant to cover the labor and the light bulbs, as well as, a free energy audit where we built a lighting inventory for all of the bulbs in their building. So there are financial benefits. That's just one example. Another is a signal to customers. Younger generations are really seeking a sustainability factor in the way businesses operate. And so getting certified is just a sure way that a person can actually confirm that someone is sustainable rather than saying, we're sustainable and we do all these things. But if there's a quality assurance aspect to that, then, like a certification, it's a great way to signal to your customers, like, we're good for the planet and you'll get more business.
Thank you.
So Nia, you mentioned an energy audit
Yes.
and a grant. Can you talk, in case there are businesses here that are interested in are hearing that for the first time and interested in pursuing it, what is an energy audit and what type of grants are typically available?
Yeah, so we partner with Central Coast Leaders in Energy Action Program. It is a mouthful, so we just call it CC Leap. CC Leap is a program from the Energy Coalition, another nonprofit, but they do site visits and they've been able to do energy site scans. So, I mean, for example, this new building wouldn't really need one because you just finished the retrofit, but it's really helpful to a business owner that's been thinking, gosh, for the past like 5 years, I've heard about things like heat pumps or, you know, really energy efficient technology for heating, cooling, hot water, but I don't know how to access that. I don't even know where to start. And so it's what I would consider the pre-work before you go about figuring out who to hire in terms of a contractor to do those retrofits and building upgrades. And so we've been able to provide energy audits to multiple different businesses in SLO County, and that's been really helpful for them to just figure out what is there, first of all, what is in my building? I don't know what type of light bulb that is. I don't know what type of water heater that is. So there's documentation that's provided. And then CC Leap does an amazing thing. Well, they will also analyze how many kilowatt hours that you've used and expended over the past 3 years. And if you were to put in new technology upon their recommendation, and they don't recommend brands, they, nothing like that. They recommend truly for your benefit in both energy savings as well as financial savings. They're able to analyze your PG&E data and check out, this application for this piece of technology will actually save you down the road for like 10 years this much, and do kind of model that out for you. And it's all stuff people pay for,
Right.
So it's amazing that we've been able to do that for businesses here in SLO.
So you must work with some of the businesses who are going through this process.
Yes.
How much surprise is there in the potential savings when they get this audit?
I think there's a lot of surprise, and for the most part, the business owners that come to our SLO County Green Business Program, they're already green-minded. It's a voluntary program. It's not a mandate. So they're already kind of in the space of thinking, how do I do better? So not a crazy surprise, but it is sizable. I mean, I've been talking about light bulbs a lot because it's the lowest hanging fruit you can do, and you don't have to change them as often. The upfront cost is maybe a little more, but the long-term savings for sure. And I mentioned the SLO Adventist Church because absolutely they were shocked, like $90 month after month savings for, especially for a nonprofit.
Right, $1,000 a year.
Exactly, for a nonprofit that's funded by their members. So it's an awesome shock, a good surprise.
And you mentioned grant funding. So typically, what does grant funding cover, and who's eligible?
Yes, so grants are changing constantly, and it's a good reason to know me because that's my job to know, what's coming down the pipeline. So when grant deadlines sunset, I'll be doing research to see what other grants are out there to help our businesses. Actually, in our audience, we have Core Kitchen. She's one of our green businesses. She's actually the first food business to get Green Business Certified in SLO County. And she went through the process, and I am always sending Sophia grants. There's a $5,000 grant out right now for restaurant resiliency. So, things like that. And because I'm always at the forefront of that, I'll be finding them. But California Green Business Network also has their own internal grants, and so that's how we were able to fund that lighting retrograde. Or retro upgrade retrofit. So just multiple different ones. There's no one set. We currently have one called a reusables rebate that was made possible by our Integrated Waste Management Authority. So any business looking to swap out their single-use disposables with something renewable, like say if you have a Keurig and you're like, oh, gross, heated plastic in my coffee, and you want to get a reusable pod or just swap it entirely for a new
awesome espresso machine or something, we have $250 for you to do that. And so, that's an example of funding opportunities that businesses can partake in.
So a Keurig is a good example. If you just think about an everyday household, what are the top 2 or 3 offenders that we may not be aware of that we should,
Gosh, in a household, I mainly deal in the world of commercial, so mine would be anecdotal, I guess. Keurig is a really good one. A lot of folks have Keurigs, and I definitely recommend swapping that out. I think not composting. We are so lucky to live in a county that prioritizes it, provides that service for free.
Yeah.
In some places, you actually have to hire someone to take your compost, and compost accounts for 1/3 of landfill waste and produces a greenhouse gas called methane, which is just, I think, 12 times more intense than carbon dioxide. So it's really bad for our atmosphere. And we're so lucky that we actually have one of the first in the nation, if not the first, compogas, like what Mayela mentioned, digesters to actually take our county's green waste and turn it into gas and electricity for our electrical grid. So I'd say if you're not composting, compost. It's amazing. It's free service. Oh, yes.
Maybe it's a silly question, but it's important to me because I'm a bad offender. So I'm in the kitchen all the time and making like carrot juice and things, and I've got a lot of green waste, and I don't dig a hole and put the things in. I just throw it behind the garage. And my friend said that I'm feeding the rats. So I don't know what I'm doing, but so question. So can I just throw everything into the green bin? If I do that, it's going to start cooking in there, But is it okay if it starts, bacterial action there?
It is, if you are managing it and have your own green bin and you are creating your own compost. I'm talking more about the municipal service that we have where you can get a green bin, a curbside bin that someone picks up, but you can put your green waste, like if you're cutting down branches or, grass clippings, definitely put that in. A really good resource is IWMA's recycling guide. They have done such an amazing job to create that user experience for folks like us who are like, I don't know, am I making a rat's nest? Just go to IWMA's website and look for their recycling guide. And it's literally a search toolbar. You could type in anything and it will tell you which bin to put it in.
I also noticed on your website, EcoSLO.com, that there is a recycling guide that you can order, and we have one at our house. I recognized it when I was looking online, and it gives really good guidelines. So when we moved here, composting was different than in San Francisco where we moved from. The main thing that I noticed is the little green compostable bags are not compatible with the digester.
Right.
So we have a compost bin under our sink with the green bag in it, but when we take that out, we empty the contents of the green bag into our green bin and throw the bag in our regular trash. So it takes some getting used to, but I didn't understand why. So now it's really interesting to know. So what is a digester?
A digester is, so we have a closed system digester, and essentially it's where we put all of our green waste and it's closed off so that it can produce gas that then gets siphoned somewhere to be turned into electricity. And so that is the main reason. San Francisco has incredible recycling infrastructure, and they have recycling machines that are able to transform those compostable bioplastics. We can't do that here in SLO County yet. Maybe that's a plan in the future, who knows? But that's, so we have a very specialized system that produces clean energy.
Great. So earlier you mentioned that being green certified for a business is voluntary, and we have many green-minded folks who live in this beautiful place. So you probably have more uptake than the average,
Yes.
than my hometown of Detroit, right? But what do you see happening in terms of policy? Will what you're providing eventually be wholly or partially mandated by policy?
I can't speak to that perfectly, other than we do have a sustainability team here at the city of SLO, and we have, you know, a sustainability team at the county level as well. If anyone has ever heard of Annie Seacrest, she is doing incredible work. I'm such a fangirl.
Annie Seacrest.
Annie Seacrest. She works for the county, so she's our sustainability manager. She's the one responsible for SLO's airport being 100% powered by solar, which is,
wow.
We're also very lucky. There are very few airports in the nation that have that. So we have a very amazing team in place to help our environment become sustainable in all of these different infrastructural ways, you know, covering stormwater, covering solid waste management, covering transportation initiatives. Mandates, I can't speak to. Definitely you should have someone from the city come, because they do awesome stuff. But, you know, my program and what we do at EcoSLO really sits close to that and follows the policy, like the climate action plans and whatnot. So there are some ambitious goals, but we're making really good headway. And the actions that we do really contribute to that, like the tree plantings, you know, helping retrofit old buildings for certain energy goals and green buildings goals.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to leave these folks with before we turn it over to them for questions? Any take-home thoughts or messages?
Gosh, yeah, I mean, I would just love to meet you. I think since landing here from New York City, it's been really fun to be in this role. Just getting to know local lives. I learned that that fun little word. And yeah, I would love to meet anyone who's interested in greening their business operations. And it's not as hard as it sounds. And I'll be essentially your concierge the whole way.
And I would really recommend going to ecoslo.com. In preparing for this talk, I looked at their website and I learned so much in a short period of time. So there's like you have what was it? The hub.
The hub.
The hub is just a list of all of these organizations in and around, and with information available and help available for us to do the right thing. Great. Questions? Great. Since SLO Core
Kitchen,
is here, do you want to tell us a little bit about your business?
Hello everybody, my name is Sofia Zikria. I'm the owner of Core Kitchen. It's the first Afghan food here in Center Coast and first green business also. And I do catering, pop-ups, private events, cooking classes, and more. And yeah, so I'm looking for a space, brick and mortar here in Center Coast to start my everyday lunch and dinners. So hopefully I find some place here. And when I started, this BDC helped me everything, teach me every step, because I moved from Afghanistan. It's been 4 years, and I did not know anything about business and all. So everything I learned is from the Ecopolis BDC, and people here helped me. And also Nia was so, she helped me with the green business and everything. Yeah, so I got to know everything here in SLO.
Who's had Afghani food? We need you to find fast,
yeah.
Please. Yeah.
So for
Can you tell us a little bit about Afghanistan?
so 3 years that I started, you know, it's been 2 years are officially doing the pop-ups and everything, everybody that had the food, they said it was their first time. So now I have some customers, client that comes and say, oh yeah, I tried the food, but when I started, nobody knows about my culture, my food, anything. So my goal was to introduce my food and also my culture, because nobody knows about Afghanistan beside war and everything in news. So that's when I decided to bring the Afghan food here. And also I love cooking, I love feeding people, and it's that's how I love cooking and people to eat my food. And Afghan food is like I'm introducing very traditional, authentic Afghan food. So it's all, some people think that it's Indian or Pakistani, but it's a different taste that we have. Spices that I use, everything, it's from Afghanistan that I order. And so I don't know if anybody had Afghan food, they know, but.
I definitely recommend checking out Core Kitchen because first, I also want to highlight Sophia was the first food business in all of the county. Sophia was also, her life story, she came here after the 2021 fall of Kabul, and then with a 2-year-old, and just built this incredible kitchen and these recipes. And coming from New York City, I love Afghan food. It was very sad to me that we didn't have that here. And then of course it was like, Sophia, what? And it's some of the most delicious cooking I've ever had. And Sophia's kitchen is currently located at Terminal Kitchen over by the airport, which was a very green building already. So it was very easy to certify her business, and then her ingredients like organic. It was really fun working with Sophia too, because there were things like making an environmental policy statement. We were translating it into Farsi.
I learned everything. Yeah, and I want to learn and want to study everything.
You're currently catering events?
Yeah, I do catering, I do pop-ups,
Okay.
work as a private chef, and cooking classes, educational dinners,
Cooking
lunches.
classes.
Yes, I do cooking classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get your information?
He's getting excited.
We have a whole bunch of summer programs with students
Yeah.
in here all summer long. So
Yeah. I'd love to.
I
do
think
that.
too, you can know on top of that not only is the food amazing and delicious, it is sustainable.
Yeah.
You're actually having the lowest impact on the environment if you go through her kitchen. And you're also catering our fundraiser next month at the
next month.
Octagon
Yes,
Barn.
I'm
EcoSLO. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be
fundraiser.
amazing.
You're selling tickets to raise money?
We are.
Oh, well, tell us about that.
Okay.
I just figured out how I can have her food.
Oh,
So
there you
buy a
go.
ticket to your fundraiser.
It's coming up. Yes,
Yeah.
it's on June 27th at the Octagon Barn, which is also another amazing sustainable space. It was a project born out of the Land Conservancy that restored this gorgeous historic barn.
Yeah.
And so EcoSLO will be doing their fundraiser there every year. And obviously we had to have one of our green businesses there. Sophia also catered at our Earth Fest, which just recently passed, along with 2 other of our green food businesses. But yeah, June 27th, come on down to the Octagon Barn. You can find out more about it at ecoslo.com/fundraiser.
Awesome. Yes. Very well.
Just to introduce myself, my name is Safa Abuldawi, and I'm a workplace designer who recently moved from LA. So I was a corporate designer back there. So I had an experience working for Netflix, Apple, and nonprofits. And then I decided to open up my own consulting company, and I moved in here. So my questions are in terms of sustainability. I definitely apply a lot of the things when I design places. Like I design places like this. This is mostly schools, offices, corporates, and stuff like that. So in terms of your organization, is it county funded or city funded, or is it nonprofit? What type of organization is it exactly? And I wanted to know, is there any opportunities to become a consultant or to work with programs that you have? and have people maybe on field that could support some of the initiatives that you work with?
Great questions. Yes, so our program is funded historically by Cuesta College. Yeah, and it's housed under EcoSLO. So EcoSLO is a nonprofit, but in other counties across California, the Green Business Program might be a municipality-owned, operation. I think like in San Diego, a few of their local green business programs are housed under their government offices. But here it's under EcoSLO, which is a nonprofit. And to answer your second question, yes. I'll also mention 3C REN, our Tri-County Regional Energy Network, supports us financially as well. And to answer your second question, yes, I mean, absolutely. I feel like the best way to do that is to sign up and enroll to become a green business program. And we do a lot of network referencing. When someone, if a business comes to me and they're like, oh, I need, a hand sanitizer to replace my other hand sanitizers, I'll definitely recommend like All Good, which is a company born out of Morro Bay. If someone's like, oh, do you know of a sustainable kombucha brand to offer at events, I'm like, Whalebird, hello. Like, yes, and you can even find on their can, Whalebird Kombucha, California Green Business Certified. So we do a lot of referencing, and you don't even have to be certified. It really is just great to connect with our network because we have so many different businesses, all different types, like hotels, law offices, shops. So I would say connect with me and we can figure that out.
Awesome, yes. Thanks a lot. Somebody.
And I had a question for businesses that are interested in getting certified through your Green Business Program. I was curious what the process typically looks like, how long it takes. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yes, so the process, I'm going to try and do this in a nutshell because it's not always so clean, but it's always fun, I'll say. So first, when a business enrolls, we'll have a touch base meeting where they'll essentially get their checklist that pertains to their business type, their industry. We'll go through that and see if there are any questions, kind of go a little more in depth, and then the business will do their first pass. So they'll look at the checklist and figure out, oh, okay, like I already do this, like check, check, check. We'll touch base again, and then if there are any questions, usually there are, we'll just chat about that, and then I'll also do site visits. So usually that's the fastest way. The easiest way is for me to kind of land at your spot because I'm able to see like, oh, like you're already using a 1.28 gallons per flush toilet. Very water safe. Actually, here, your toilets are really water efficient, just to let you know.
Amazing.
So yeah, I'll do site visits, go through the checklist that way. We'll culminate with a green ribbon cutting ceremony. So something just really fun you've probably seen on our EcoSLO Instagram. That's at EcoSLO. Just the kind of fun Instagram reels we do of green ribbon cutting. So it's a way to invite your community in and then also share like across omni-channel marketing, methods. But and then you're certified. But the shortest it's ever been was 2 weeks, and the longest maybe a year, and that's totally fine. It's okay if you don't do it that fast because that is like superstar stuff. But yeah, there's no timelines or no mandates, so in your own time.
Awesome.